You're listening to Clearview Today with Dr. Shah, the daily show that engages mind and heart for the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm Ryan Hill.
I'm John Galantis.
And you can find us online at clearviewtodayshow.com. Or if you have any questions for Dr. Shah or suggestions for new topics, send us a text to 252-582-5028. Or you can email us at contact@clearviewtodayshow.com.
That's right. And you guys can help us keep the conversation moving forward by supporting the show. You can share it online with your friends and family. Leave us a good 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasting content from. Absolutely nothing less than 5 stars. Link is in the description below. And we are here with Dr. Shah, who is a PhD in New Testament textual criticism, professor at Carolina University, author, full-time pastor, and the host of today's show. Dr. Shah, happy Friday, my friend.
Happy Friday.
We finally made it to the weekend.
It's good to be here.
Friday's a good day.
Yes, good to see you. It's a great day. That's what Rebecca Black said. Friday. Got to get down on Friday.
Today's verse of the day is coming to us from Jonah chapter 2, verse 7. When my soul fainted within me, I remembered the Lord, and my prayer went up to you into your holy temple.
Dr. Shah, I remember in 2019, we went to Jaffa in Israel.
Yes.
We walked around the town where Jonah departed from?
Yes.
Or was from?
No, he departed from
there.
No.
I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but like there was a shot. I might see if I can get this shot and give it to Nicholas to put in this episode. But it's a shot of you walking down in slow motion towards the dock, and this humongous wave just like crashes up. I mean, it looks like something out of a movie,
Right.
In like slow motion. We put really cool music to it and stuff. But I think about that, like I think about Jonah being in the belly of this whale and saying, my soul fainted within me. When all this, like imagine being at the ocean floor and then saying, I remembered the Lord. You know, I remembered the Lord. My prayer went up to you.
Yeah.
Well, it has, of course, layers of application. One meaning, but layers of application. So the meaning definitely is about this prophet being in the belly of the fish, the great fish, and he is crying out to God. And so of course, that is what's happening here. But there is a meaning there that's deeper and has applications, which is it represents Christ, who is in the grave. And on the third day, he rises again. And of course, Jesus himself used that typology to explain his coming resurrection.
Yeah.
So one application, of course, when we are in the midst of a difficult time, we can cry out to God, even if it's as absurd as being inside a fish and going down to the roots of the mountains in the ocean. You can still cry out to God, and He hears you.
That's right.
Another deeper application would be, I would say, knowing that Jesus has conquered the grave.
Right.
He has gone down as deep as he can go. And because he was sinless, because he was the Prince of Life, he came back to life. And now through him, we also have the assurance that one day we will have the resurrection.
That's right.
Amen.
That's right. You know, there's a woman right now who's going through what some would consider to be an absurd trial in her life. I don't think she's turning to God, but there's an American woman. Her name is, we were talking about this at lunch. Her name is Oneija Robinson.
Okay.
And someone mentioned this at lunch. Someone said SNL, Saturday Night Live, could not have written this sketch. It's so absurd. So she got catfished by this guy, this 19-year-old.
Now, what is a catfish?
So catfish is where, okay, let's say Ryan is single and I want to catfish him. I will make an online profile pretending to be a beautiful woman to make him fall in love. So he's talking to who he thinks is a beautiful woman. Or sometimes women will
But in
do
her
it.
case, it'll be some man.
It's a man, yeah. So for her, she thought she was talking to like a grown man that she was going to marry. Turns out it was a 19-year-old kid trolling her.
Oh.
So she flew to Pakistan to marry this online boyfriend. But then, of course, when she got there,
So she wanted to be married?
I think she's already married.
Oh.
I think she was already married. I think it's the deeper you get into it, the less it makes sense.
Really?
Yeah. So
she's got some problems.
this is the beginning.
It's a
of
big
her
problem.
Tip of the iceberg.
She gets to Pakistan. She finds out it was all a fake, and then the boy's family, forbade this relationship. Right. So you would think, okay, she's just gonna go back home. No, she just stayed in Pakistan.
How long has she been there?
I think for like a year now.
Really?
I think for like a year. So
It says she traveled there in October.
Yeah. So it's become...
But maybe not a year.
Maybe not quite a year.
3-4 months.
3 or 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah. So she came there from New York. It has become an internet sensation. People are talking about it. It's happening right now. And so she's now refusing to leave Pakistan. She's playing like she's stranded, but she's just not leaving. They're trying to deport her, but she doesn't want to be deported. And so here's where it gets weird. She started holding her own press conferences out on the street. Like protesting other charities, protesting organizations. She's holding her own press conference. She's giving updates on this weird situation where she's supposedly stranded, but she's also giving feedback on the state of Pakistan and how it's being run, and she's demanding large sums of money so that she can fix the country. And I know that all those sentences that I just said seem like they don't go together, and you're right.
I mean, she's making good of a bad situation.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. So
if this seems like it doesn't make sense, correct.
Yes, of course. Everything I said makes no sense, and that's where we're at now. So this is a video of her interrupting this conference. It's the Chippa conference. I don't know what the Chippa conference is. Do you have any clue what Chippa conference is supposed to mean?
Not a clue. I mean, is it Pakistan? So I have no idea.
Okay, let's watch it and see. There's this guy.
जो भी मामला जितना हो गया 2-3 दिन बहुत हो गया भाई बहुत हो गया बस है बस अब बस है बस है बस
He talks too much.
बस
Listen, he talks too much. That's it.
She said
yes that's
she's
it
giving him the business.
yes I'm saying ये भी देखे यही मेरी बात की तारीफ करनी है
Listen. You talk too much.
okay
We don't know what you're saying.
अच्छा आप ये सारी चीजें हम जो आप अभी देख रहे हैं ये हम रात से मतलब है कि स्पेयर कर रहे हैं अच्छा जाहिर है हम तो इंसानी बुनियादों पर हमारा काम है खिदमत का काम
He
है
must be a politician.
So, Dr.
I mean, I know exactly what he's saying.
What is he saying? Because can you translate it for us?
He is he's talking about enough is enough. He's like getting on, I think, to the press reporters about their questions or what they're asking. So I think he's trying to help this woman. But she's turning on him. I think he's trying to help this woman who turns on him and says, "You talk too much." And he's like, "Yes, that's it. There they are."
Yep.
And she's like, "No, you talk too much." He's like, "Okay,
All right. Okay. Chippa it's a well-known charity in Pakistan. It says it provides emergency and humanitarian services.
And she's going there asking for money. So this is one of her where she's in Karachi. And claims that she's going to move to Dubai with this 19-year-old.
Now these are two different places, right?
Same woman.
Dubai is in United Arab Emirates.
Yes.
If I'm not wrong, that's in the Middle East.
Yes. This video is taking place in Karachi. I'm not sure where Karachi is. Is that in Pakistan?
It's the capital.
Is that where Sean Khan was talking about?
Yes.
Karachi.
Yes,
okay. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should text Sean and see if he knows this one.
we may need to.
Yeah. All right. Listen.
On your camera. I'm married to Nidel Hamid. I'm Oneija Hamid. We are moving to Dubai very soon. We're going to have our baby in Dubai.
Where is your family now?
It's private. I'm Muslim and it's against my religion to tell y'all my business.
So she's Muslim.
Yes, I guess so. So she's certainly not turning to God for her problems here. That's
Excuse me. I just said it's against my religion to tell you my business, okay? I'm fine. Thank you.
Is that the overwhelming majority of Pakistan is Muslim?
Oh yes, definitely.
Okay.
So India and Pakistan were one country up until 1947, and after we got independence, the country split into India became Hindu dominated and Pakistan Muslim dominated.
That's the partition.
That's the partition that took place. And so in the partition, now Hindus and Muslims were scattered all over India, which is India and Pakistan together. But when the partition happened, it was kind of like a fear between the Hindus and the Muslims, like, you're going to kill our people. No, you're going to kill our people. So we're going to come together. So if we are majority in a region, then we can protect ourselves. I mean, it was sort of true, but much of that was just propaganda. All right. So the leaders behind the scenes wanted countries, of course. And the British did not want to leave such a big country that had such powerful things going for them, like railways, educational system, a strong military system, a strong police system, hospitals. I mean, you're leaving a very, very successful place now in the hands of the locals. And they were afraid that we're going to create a superpower here. They
were afraid that India, Pakistan, or both would become superpower.
India, Pakistan together as India would become a superpower.
Got you. So are the British behind the partition? They're the ones that...
I mean, it depends on who you listen to. I believe they were.
Got you. Okay.
And I think in some sense, I don't know. I mean, it was probably a wise decision to split the country. It's not a good decision from India's point of view because all of a sudden, what was one, kind of like a one nation, now it's two. Keep in mind though, if you go back in time, this whole idea of countries was not there. It was just kingdoms.
Right.
They all fell under, like even all the way up to Kabul, Afghanistan was all part of this, this India, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
So how do you know what is a country? Today, when we talk about nations and countries, it's very different.
How would your parents? I know we gotta cut to a break soon, but
Sure.
how would your parents, being Christians, how would they have viewed the partition? I'm guessing they were alive when it happened.
Well, growing up, we grew up. I grew up in India up until 17 years of age when I came to America. Yeah, I mean, we were patriotic people, right? Now, on my dad's side of the family, okay, more Muslim, they were more for the British.
Okay.
On my mom's side of the family, they were, especially on my mom's father's side of the family. Mom's father's side of the family.
Right.
They were sort of anti-British. In fact, my mom's uncle was one of the bodyguards for a revolutionary by the name of Subhash Chandra Bose. Same, just like the Bose you have, that's
The Bose, like Bose speakers?
yeah. It's an Indian company.
Okay.
So Subhash Chandra Bose, he was a revolutionary Indian and a revolutionary from India, fighting against the British. And my grandfather's brother was his bodyguard.
Wow.
Yeah. So he went to Germany, met Hitler, and all that because Germany was trying to get India to rebel against the British during World War II.
Right.
So who do you go to? You go to the anti-British people in India. So I mean, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But then our other side of the family were pro-India on my mom's side.
Gotcha.
It was kind of all kinds of things going on there.
But so it wasn't necessarily
Pro-British, I would say.
That's a good point, because I was thinking that with your parents being Christian, it would be like, well, it's not really a big deal because it's between the Muslims and the Hindus. But then you also got to think your country is being split apart. So
Right.
yeah, I guess that does.
And this
that does
was
make a big thing.
after the fact. I mean, my dad was 10 years old when the partition took place. My mom was 5 years old when the partition took place. I mean, how much do they know? But being that first generation in the new country, there were certain sentiments of patriotism.
Right.
And then there were wars between India and Pakistan several times. And so, it was kind of a sad thing. Like, we were friends, we were brothers, we lived there. There was a lot of hurt and anger. Not in my family, because we didn't live on the border or anything. So it was not an issue for us.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But as Indians, we feel for that.
Yeah.
But now I don't see it like that anymore. It's like I'm very objective when I
Right.
look at this. Personally, I wish British would have allowed Christianity to spread in India. And in many ways that would have helped Christianity grow and spread. They didn't do that.
Great point.
In fact, many of them obstructed missionaries from doing their job.
I think about even the conversation we had with Sean Conn, where now it's like it has been kind of put on us Christians in the West to spread that Christian. Maybe we can talk about that a little more after the break.
Of course.
Absolutely. Guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break and be right back with more Clearview Today. Hey, Clearview Today listeners. Every day we invite you to join us in these conversations and explore the never-ending truth of God's Word. And if you've been following the show for a while, if you feel like it's blessed you and you believe in the mission we're on, we invite you to partner with us through your financial support.
That's right. Your giving helps us keep the message of the gospel reaching more hearts and minds every day. And when you give for the gospel, that's not an act of generosity. That's an act of worship. It's a way to honor God and invest in His kingdom, knowing that every single dollar you give helps us share the hope of Jesus with a world in desperate need of Him.
If God is pressing on your heart right now to give to the Clearview Today Show, you can visit our website, clearviewtodayshow.com, and press that little button that says Give Today. And we just want to say thank you for your support. May God continue to bless you as you partner with us in making our show as impactful as possible for the gospel of Jesus Christ.
That's right. We appreciate every single one of you. Now let's get back to the show.
Welcome back to Clearview Today with Dr. Abadan Shah, the daily show that engages mind and heart for the gospel of Jesus Christ. You can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com. Or if you have any questions or suggestions for new topics, send us a text to 252-582-5028.
Dr. Shah, I feel like there are people around the world. We looked at this woman earlier where she was talking about all these things. She was like, I'm just going to take it upon myself to fix Pakistan. So give me $20,000, give me $100,000, and I'm going to fix Pakistan. And we're kind of laughing about it, but at the same time, it's like there must be some solution. You know what I mean? We look at the countries around us today, even our own country, and rather than throw our hands up and say, well, it just is what it is, it feels like everybody kind of thinks they know what it would take to fix a nation.
Yeah.
So why doesn't it just happen? You know what I mean?
Fixing a nation. I mean, go attend a city council meeting or county commissioners meeting, and you'll realize the complexities of fixing something.
Right.
You really have to understand the issues that are taking place. You really have to understand the source of the problem and understand what steps you need to take to fix that problem. You have to see the immediate and the ultimate. You need to see how everything is going to benefit people. You have to take the roads or the paths that will help facilitate the change. I mean, many times I've sat in some of these meetings and I'm thinking, wow, that's okay.
Yeah.
This, I don't get it.
Like, what are we doing here?
Maybe I'm the one completely off, or maybe something is wrong over there.
Right.
I don't know.
We're going around and around spinning our wheels.
Yeah, or just incompetent.
Yeah.
And should not be doing this job,
Yeah.
So, anyways, I don't know how to get on that subject.
How is it that it's city council meetings or things like
County
that,
commissioners meeting,
county commissioners meetings, things like that, where there's this group of people, this delegation that's supposed to be making choices for the betterment of a society, an organization, a city, a town,
right,
a nation even, and why is it that incompetent people usually wind up on those boards?
Yeah, I'm not saying everybody is. I think there are a lot of good people there. I believe there are a lot of people with the right perspective and intelligent, very intelligent, understand the situation. But many times they do not have the majority.
Or it's like they don't even be focused on the right thing. Like they're just sitting there worried about like what they're going to eat in a few minutes. They just got boredom in their stomach. You know what I mean?
What is the word?
I don't know.
Borgum?
I don't even know what.
Borgum?
Borgum.
Huh?
Borrygm. You know that rumbling you sometimes get in your stomach? This is the term for that sensation. It might be a little more difficult to say than saying I'm hungry. I think it's just hunger. I don't have no clue how to
Borgum?
B-O-R. B-O-R-Y-G-M. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Borborigum?
Borgorum. Yeah. I can't even say it.
Yeah.
I was like, I got to just, hold on. I just had to get it out of the way because I was like, there's no way that this is going to contribute.
Yeah, we need to have better words. We need to have some better words.
Tough word.
Yeah, that was tough. I knew there was no way to get that passed. But I mean, I do see what you're saying though, and that's why I appreciate you being on a lot of these council boards and these like city council and stuff like that.
Now, I'm not on the city council or the county commissioners, but I'm aware of what's happening.
But you are on a lot of. You're on the public education board. You're on the YMCA board.
Yes.
You're on tons and tons of boards.
I was on the Truist board at one time. When we had those local boards with 20, 30 banks, I think that many, but now I'm not doing that. I'm doing some other things, nonprofits, and you learn the importance of understanding how change is made. You try to understand what people are really asking for. And what is the cost? And I'm not just talking about dollar and cents. I'm talking about the cost of making that change. How is that going to impact other people? Is this really fair? And when all this is done, are we going to be headed in the right direction? Does this support the foundation of our, of our nation, our values, our community? Does it really even go with that?
Right.
A lot of times, communities are making decisions and they keep going because people have to live their lives and survive and make ends meet. So a community keeps going, but it's not necessarily going in the best direction. And in third world countries, you see that like right there, smack dab in your face. Here, even if a community is like It's horrible. It's terrible. Because the surrounding, whether it's the county or the state or the region is doing well, or the nation is, even if a community is like really garbage, right? Overall, it still is okay. Because the rest of the country will pull it up.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So yes, in some sense, it's really bad for that community because certain leaders are in power, so we're like really stuck. But because 30 minutes down the road, we have a different county, or 30 minutes down the road, we have a different region.
The troubles of that one specific county that's doing poorly don't affect...
Or the cities.
Things aren't as widespread.
And so it's more likely not to get fixed because it's not affecting the surrounding counties or the surrounding communities.
More than likely not going to get fixed as long as those people are in power. And also because people can find a better restaurant in another town because they cannot get a job here because no industry can come here because of how poorly we're managing this.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to have to go to the other county or other city and get a job.
That's a good point that I think I have never actually thought about that. My wife and I, it is nothing for us to get in our car and drive down to Wake Forest to go to one of our favorite restaurants.
Sure.
Because we know that some of the restaurants here, there are plenty of restaurants here that we love.
And some good ones, yeah.
But there's some that we don't love. Like there's tons of places in our town that we could go, and yet at the same time we choose to go elsewhere. We choose to go like 30 minutes down the road.
And some of it is just to get out of here, just to have a different scenery.
Right.
But some is because it's better over there.
I agree. I agree. Let me ask you this, because you are on a lot of these boards and you're on a lot of these sort of organizations, and you're a pastor. Do you feel like if there's not an intentional push to get pastors in these community positions, that the Christian perspective isn't thought about? You know what I mean?
100%. 100%. That happens a lot.
Even if the people on the board happen to be Christians.
That's a good point.
If they're not pastors, then is it easier for them to overlook their Christian convictions?
Or they need to bring in a pastor to do the prayer. Like right now, I do a lot of prayers at county commissioners' meetings, and one of the commissioners, helped make it happen. Now, they were doing it, but they were going to do away with it because pastors were not coming or whatever. And I said, look, you call me, even if it's like the day before or that morning, and say, hey, we don't have anybody, or somebody backed out, I'll be there. Because that's something we cannot give up.
Right.
I don't make any decisions. I don't say anything at the county meetings, but I definitely get up and I pray. I don't pray, I don't like preaching my prayer or anything. I just pray. I pray for God's blessing upon the commissioners. I pray for God's blessing upon all our workers and all those employed by our community or our county. Pray for God's blessing upon our people. Help us to be a great community that glorifies you and lifts up Jesus Christ.
Right.
Always put the name of Christ in there.
Has involvement, as a pastor, in the community on that level, like being a part of boards and decision-making committees or, county commissioner prayer type things, has that something that's always been important to you, or is it something you learned as you got into ministry?
I learned watching my dad because he was always involved in the community. Now, of course, in India, he didn't get up to pray in some of those places because they're all Hindus or Muslims or whatever. But he definitely was involved in the politics.
And they didn't have any problem with him being involved, being a Christian pastor?
No, not at all.
Wow.
Now, I don't know what it's like. Gotcha. Probably a very different world.
But back then, no problem.
Yeah, 50 years ago, no, it was fine. Today, I don't think it's the same. Yeah. So, I think this lady, what she's trying to enact this change in Pakistan, it's not just a community that needs better leaders. It's the whole system is built on a faulty foundation, whether it's Pakistan or India. The reason America works and the reason much of Europe works is because it's built on a Judeo-Christian foundation.
Yeah.
True.
Of liberty, of freedom, of prosperity, of the value and worth of every human being.
That's a great point. Even in our worst communities in America, the entirety of America is built on that Judeo-Christian foundation.
Hence, those little communities sort of survive and keep going and doing their stupid stuff.
Right. I was going to ask you if there's pastors, because I think there is a growing push in America, especially in the South, to get pastors involved at the community and the local level.
I think it's great.
And I mean, we've been a part of that. We've been part of that organization. We got to meet a lot of great people. We met Mike Huckabee through that event. Do you think that there's this sort of I don't want to say delusion, but this sort of misunderstanding that as soon as I get involved, change is going to happen overnight. Within a year or two, maybe even within 5 years, it's going to be radically different. And people have to discover that it takes time to enact these changes.
Yeah.
It takes time, but I think if, unlike a church, I think it can happen much faster in these city council or county commissioners.
Wow.
Because it's not a church. Church is where it's a voluntary organization. This is not a voluntary.
Good point.
Which means if you need to make a change, you make the change, which is for the best for the community.
Yeah.
You fight for that change. In church, it's not the same.
Right.
Yes, you fight for the word of God. You fight for the gospel of Jesus Christ. But you still want to love and live with people and work together, unless it's somebody is a troublemaker or a scoffer, then you have to cast them out. But other than that, you still have to work with people. So it's not the same.
It's not like you can just enact a law like within the church and be like, all right, now everyone has to obey
This is
it.
here now. Yes.
And you are still obligated to send your taxes in, or tithes in.
And if you don't do it, you're going to get punished for that.
Yeah.
I can't. How can a church do that?
Yeah, true.
Right.
Good
You
point.
cannot do that. It's all built on good feeling. Again, please don't misunderstand me. Church is much more than good feeling, but that's, it's proverbially, it's known as the good feeling.
You need more buy-in from a church congregation than you do from town residents.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, you do need a buy-in, but that buy-in is based on how good a job you're doing in improving that community, in helping the people of that community, And so this lady trying to do this in Pakistan, I think it's just a show. I think she's getting all a following, and she is sensationalist, and and those silly people in that part of Pakistan are following her.
Yeah.
maybe somebody is paying them and saying, "Hey, keep this going so we can keep our ratings going on our." I don't know, TikTok or whatever.
But we have partnered with people who, like really, really great people. In fact, here in just a few weeks, we're going to NRB and we'll probably have lunch with those guys. But we've had them on the show here who are bringing the good news of Jesus Christ to Pakistan. Yes, that's a great thing.
Absolutely. I think it's a good reminder talking about stuff like this that, this is a silly example of someone trying to do exact change, but I hope it's a catalyst for pastors and ministry leaders to be involved on the cultural level, on the local level, in your city councils, on your boards,
county commissioners.
Yeah.
Or even what would you say to someone, as we're wrapping up, what would you say to someone who's listening? It's like, well, I want to see change in my community. Most people don't care. I genuinely care. I'm just not even a pastor. I'm just a guy. I'm just a woman.
Yeah, you don't have to be a pastor to do this.
Right.
Yeah, you can be a regular person. For one, educate yourself. Educate yourself. Go to some of these meetings and sit and listen for a while. Don't just go there to fight. Sit and listen and see how things are done. And some things you will agree with, I'm sure many things you won't agree with. Figure out how our republic works. What are the foundational values? What made us so successful? And what you'll realize is the Judeo-Christian values are the basis of our nation. But then also study our founding fathers, see how all this works. And then you will understand the system of government. How does that work?
Yeah.
How do you make decisions? Sometimes I think people flip through their folders 5 minutes before the meeting and they're ready to, and then they ask questions and you're going, really? You should not be asking clarifying questions. Your question should be to figure out that person's position.
Right.
Clarifying questions?
Yeah, you should be. You
should
should know that.
You should have done all your homework. You should be the most, you should be an expert on that subject when you're sitting down in that meeting.
That's right.
Very true.
Make sure you guys join us next week, same time, same station. We're going to be diving into another great topic here on the Clearview Today Show. Thanks again to our sponsors for making today's episode possible. And don't forget that you can support us by subscribing to the show on iTunes if you want to re-listen. And you can always support us financially at clearviewtodayshow.com. John, anything you want to leave our listeners with this weekend?
Yes, absolutely. Make sure you pick up Dr. Shah and Nicole's book, 30 Days of Praying for America. This is book 3 in our 3-book series. Book 4 is going to be coming out very, very soon, but you can pick up all of those copies on Amazon.com. You can also get all our original music on iTunes or Spotify. We got a brand new single coming out. It's called Great and Awesome. We're going to let you guys know just the second that it's out, and we're going to publicize it all over the place so you can add it to your worship repertoire at your church.
That's right. Find a church to worship with this weekend, and we look forward to seeing you bright and early on Monday morning. We love you guys. We'll see you Monday on Clearview Today.